Trust the Profits Breeders' Cup coverage is brought to you by PlayUp Racebook, the most horse player-friendly racebook in the industry. PlayUp Racebook is always your best bet.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Doubling Down with Colin Sheehan. I'm joined by El Hombre today, and for the first time, we are live. What's happening, El Hombre?
I'll just enjoying a Saturday Keeneland card here. We playing some trifectas throughout the day. We hit one nice one that covered most of our bets, hoping for at least a couple more since there's, 3 races left? 4? I don't know.
Well, what's most important is we hit the double.
Yeah, true.
This is Doubling Down. This is your first appearance, so welcome. Usually we tape this on Tuesday, Wednesday. We get some viewers, and that'll join me. And this week, because we've been doing so much breeders prep, we just didn't get the chance to tape Doubling Down. And so we said, hey, we're just shooting the stuff. Let's do it live, as they say. One of my favorite TV outtakes. We'll do it live.
Hell yeah.
So we are moving over to the race 8 and race 9 at Keeneland. We are 21 minutes away from post time. We're going to dive right into this. Usually I get a little flow and we can kind of go around, but we got to keep our eye on the clock today. Where'd you go in race 8?
Let's see here. I got 15 pages of notes, so let me pull them up for you. I've got race 8. I'm doing a couple pick daily doubles. I'm doing a cheap ticket, and I'm doing a deeper ticket, hoping for a bomb with the deeper ticket, obviously. But on the initial ticket, a small $4 spend, actually $2 spend. I'm going to go with the 5 and the 8 in race 8. That's Classic Causeway and Wit. I think there's a chance that a couple more could sneak in and pull an upset here, but I think those two are the primary, and they're probably going to be the chalk too, but I don't know. I think you might get a little bit of a price because I think the money will be split mainly between those two as top choice. What do you think about that?
So I think in looking at this, the next leg only has 6 horses. So when I'm doing my doubles, the advantage of doubles, and especially the advantage of doing this live, because we do this Wednesday, we have no idea what the odds are going to be. We have no idea what the will pays will be. I love sitting here and watching the will pays to pay attention to how much is my ticket going to be versus what the will pays are going to be. I obviously don't want to spend more on my ticket than what the will pays are going to be. The price here is definitely hopefully in the first leg, because I think you have 2, maybe even 1, who you're obviously singling in your cheaper ticket with the 4 in the race 9. I went with the 1 in the 4 in race 9, West Willpower and First Captain. The First Captain is the one that's the 6-5 morning line favorite. And if you're looking at the daily double right now, the payouts, the smallest payout is if you go 8-4, which is $5. So my ticket's $10. I did like the 8 Wit. I think in this first leg here, I have 5 on my ticket, the 1, 2, 5, 8, 10. I'm taking a little shot here with this 2. Balnikov. Don't blame me for these name on the fly.
Belnikov's sorry to me. I was practicing that name too.
It's
Irish, but it sounds like a Russian name. So
you got this Wit is trying grass for the 3rd time. He's the 8. 3-year-old out of Practical Joke. The last 2 races on the turf in a mile have been very strong for this horse. I used Brisnet. He had a 2nd place in the Grade 2 Hall of Fame up at Saratoga, then a win back on August 28th with a 93 Brisnet speed figure. 3-1 on the morning line. Automatically, I kind of think you got some prices here. One thing that worries me, and as you said, you have Classic Causeway on your ticket. I'm wondering if going Classic Causeway can take this wire to wire. Just get out early speed and take it the whole way.
That's what I've got right in my notes. I've got my notes that, well, first of all, it's a major class drop for Classic Causeway. He just came off a race where he was heads up with a lot of the Breeders' Cup turf major contenders. But also, if he breaks away and gets alone, he's dangerous. He's won races going away many times in the past, and I don't know if he gets out on his own, he could be dangerous. That's the big threat with him. I think if Wit gets if that doesn't happen, I think Witt's gonna cover him. And like you, for my deeper ticket, I did add a couple more horses too, and I have Belnikov. Belnikov, is that what we decided it is?
We'll go with
The two.
Belnikov. The two.
And I really made a reach for a fourth horse on the deeper ticket, the 3 horse, which is Fort Washington, Jimmy Graham on board. I think I'm trying to look at the actual odds right now, the live odds. Fort Washington's 25-1. So that's a reach if we're looking for some value, and I'm going to. And the reason why basically is because I think a lot of his numbers are skewed by a bad race last out, and it was at Kentucky Downs, which if you watch any turf racing at Kentucky Downs, you know that's kind of its own animal. And some horses excel there and some don't. And I just think you can kind of toss that race and his numbers look a hell of a lot better without that Kentucky Downs race. So he's got a shot. I don't think he's going to win, but he's one that if you're looking for value, which I always am, it's probably the best deep bet. So
yeah, and you can do that exact same thing with the 1 Ready to Perform, whose last race out at Kentucky Downs was a little less off. I'm going to give you a price here. I like the 10, Fuerteventura. Oh, that rolled right off the tongue, baby. Fuerteventura. And one
also sitting at 40-1 right now with 15 minutes to post.
There we go. Let's go. The thing that stood out to me, look at the jockey improvement. You got JV up, Johnny V. That's always something that's going to grab my attention. And then I went through these past performances, okay? You got to do a little bit of digging on this. And if you look at the races on Fuerteventura, let's take out the 5 furlongs on the turf, his first race, right? It's 5 furlongs. It's a sprint. It's also his very first race. We'll forgive him for that one. 2 races later, he goes, races taken off the turf, and he's run on the dirt. This is a turf race, so we'll take that race out. 2 races later, they put him on the synthetic at 1 mile and the 16th. He runs 6th up at Woodbine. Let's take that one out. When you strip those races out, you've now got 4 races on the turf at 1 mile or 1 mile and the 16th. If you look at the speed figures, this is a 3-year-old. The improvement is there that I like to see from the Aprils and Mays to the Septembers and Octobers, and actually as we almost turn the page to November, which is crazy enough. So at 40-1, and if you also look at the Brisnet Prime Power, 5th on Brisnet Prime Power, that's not crazy. I definitely think you have some value here on this 10. Not crazy about the outside post at 1 mile. I think when I looked it up, the outside post at this race beyond 8 is 0 for 8. So there's no winners out there. But hey, we're looking for a price in a double. And especially when you're looking at 2 heavy favorites in the second leg, I'm going to take a shot with that 10.
Yeah. Just for those watching, our picks are across the bottom on that ticker, scrolling across the bottom. If you didn't notice it, I know most of you probably did, but so you'll be able to see us embarrass ourselves or be happy or somewhere in between. Yeah, I agree. I don't think this is a shoe-in for Classic Causeway or Witt to win, although they are looks like Witt's getting all the public love right now at 9-5, starting to become a breakaway favorite here, which is not a surprise because he probably is the best horse, most likely winner. It's the highest speed rating last time out of anybody in the field. Look, they brought him out as a dirt sprinter, I believe, or a short race. I can't remember if it was sprints or definitely shorter races, and he's found his place here in the turf, and he's definitely constantly improving. He was kind of a bust in the Kentucky Derby prep scene a while back. He had a lot of hype behind him and didn't live up to it early on, but he had, he's one of those horses that it became pretty evident that he needed to be on the turf, and he's done great since he's gone to the turf. So,
yeah, and I didn't really get to talk about that Biliknikov. We'll just jump back to him, a 3-year-old gelding trained by Phil D'Amato. Tyler Gaffleone gets the ride, who is currently
Biliknikov. Is that what you went with?
Balnikov.
Come on, bro. Biliknikov. We're talking that's NFL Films lore. Now you're going to Fred Biliknikov. Was that it?
Maybe that's why it came to my mind. I don't know.
Yeah. Come on, dude. You're reinventing history now with that one. But we'll let you slide.
All right, it's because we're live. You can't edit. Can't edit. This horse had been running in France and it had run really well. 3 wins. Comes back stateside, goes out to Santa Anita, finishes a second at a mile on the turf. I love horses that have shown the ability to do well at the same distance. This horse has run 3 times at the distance with 2 seconds and a first. The only thing is those races were not as strong here as that you might have in a grade 3. And that's, as you mentioned, Classic Causeway taking that class relief might be good. So for those just joining, tickets on the bottom 1, 2, 5, 8, 10 in the first leg here. We're trying to hit a double. That's what we do on this show. We try to keep the tickets a little on the cheaper side. I looked at this 6 portfolio company who is 22 to 1. So definitely cold on the board. What I said was this horse showed some great promise last year, and it just hasn't continued on to this year. It's kind of flattened out, and I just don't see the speed figures being where they need to be to make an indent on this race here. So that's kind of what we feel about for the first leg. We might as well jump ahead so people that are playing the double, we can give them a quick feel for what they have.
It's a letdown. There's only 5 horses in it, so it's kind of like, and really, I think we are on the same 2 with the pairing that we picked. It's a short field. Who was it? Chess Chief pulled out. That would have added a little bit of flavor, but there's some recognizable names in here, some good horses, but it's only a 5-horse field. So
King
I
Fury,
think you can look about
King
4 deep out of the 5. I think King Fury really is probably the only horse that I don't give any shot to. I think
my boy.
well, he was what was it? What race did he win that was such an upset?
The Lexington. It'll be
yeah, last year.
Memory of mine. I was sitting at a park at the lake and I saw him going off. I think he was like 18 to 1. And I'm sitting there with my kid and I was going to put the bet in and my kid like fell off the slide or something. And I ran over to him and I didn't get the bet in and I watched him win. And I was like, it's one of those moments like, okay, King Fury's always ingrained in the back of my head as that moment, right?
We all have a horse like that, man.
I know. Yeah.
Part of the love of the game.
So
I think same thing with race 9. I think the same thing. First Captain looks like the obvious. The 4-horse looks like the obvious pick. Just flat out is the best horse in the race. 6 to 5 morning line shows it. I don't know. I feel like if anybody can beat him, it's the 1, and it sounds like you agreed with me on that.
I do. And
posting some awesome workout times recently. Winner last time out, easy winner. And he's going to get you more value. If you're looking for value, I think his morning line's 4 to 1, but it's going to drop from there. It's probably going to go off more like 3 to 1, I'm going to guess. But that's the only reason I added him to my ticket for the deeper ticket, was hoping for some value. But I really think that First Captain should win this.
Yeah, the one thing that I think, and my ticket says 1-4 on the bottom there, but in this type of race, when I'm playing a double, I'm going to single that second leg. So that's who I'm on right now. And as we get closer, we're 8 minutes from post. I'm watching the Will Pays, so I know what's going to happen. What I think about West Will Power is I think he might be the only speed in this race, and if he can get out, King Fury's a dead closer from maybe the 6th Last Samurai goes, but from what I see, it's West Will Power. It's 3rd off the claim with Cox. I love that. It's 2nd off the layoff. The back class, if you go back 2, 4, 5 races ago, the speed figures are definitely there. I think in a double ticket, the smart thing to do is to pick one of them and single them and try and get your leg in the first leg. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'll update that ticket. I think just because of what I'm seeing for the Will Pays, I'm going to go with the 1 West Will Power. I'm going to hope Rosario, who rode this horse back in Saratoga last July, kept him just off the pace and finished 2nd. A little bit lighter on the races compared to what the 4's been running against, right? The 4's running against grade 1, grade 2 company. So that does scare me, but that's why we gamble, right? You take a chance.
Yeah, I think you're right. The Will Pays, I'm going to jump out on a limb here and say that the 4 is going to be a wild favorite, probably sub 1 to 1. So yeah, the 1's going to be your only value in race 9. But if you really like that 4, you think it's going to win easily, single them like you said, and then hope for value in the first leg. So
it just changed my ticket on the ticker. So everyone out there watching, be sure to take the 4 because that is absolutely when.
Yeah, you made the cardinal error. Me when I split tickets a lot with the formula, and we do that. Like, should I change it? And it's like, no, that's the kiss of death every time. You
All
change it, especially if it's like the last minute. That's guaranteed to burn you.
Well, let's
But
try.
hey, could be wrong.
8-4 is $4, 5-4 is $9, 1-4 is $10. So there's really no. The only thing that would be nice is if I get that Fuerza Vallarta, the number 10 home in the first leg, that's paying $76 to the 4. So I may actually cover myself and play a little 10 in the first leg with 4 in the second leg because that's a $76 double. And if I have an opinion on this, if I have an opinion on this 10, and I think the race is able to maybe fall apart, then why not put that in? So we're going to add that in right now, and those will be the 2 tickets I go with.
All right, we are 5 minutes out, and yeah, anybody else in the third or in the second leg even intrigue you a little bit? I've got Folsom is a little bit interesting, the 3, but
not really.
Again, in a 5-horse race, how deep can you go in a daily double? I mean,
yeah, I'm pretty confident that the 1 or the 4 will get me through that second leg, so that's where I'm going. We'll take a quick look at my standings for the daily double show that I've had here. You can see me in the green. I was up to about 55 when my boy Brand brought a nice $55 payday for a double a couple weeks ago. I've been chipping away at that. We changed the second person there. That was mostly Trusty last week, putting an $18 bet in and missing. Where's Trusty? Is he out there? So he immediately
doesn't want to show his face this week.
He immediately got the guests down to $24. So hopefully you can bring that back up for them.
Yeah, man. So which one's counting towards my scoring here? The deeper one?
Both of them, brother.
All right, that's fair.
Both of them.
That's fair because if I hit that deeper one, it's going to be at least reasonable payout with the 2 and the 3 in the first leg.
If there's anybody out there watching, you like someone in the 8th or 9th, please throw your picks in the comments. We'd love to hear who you are going with. We got 4 minutes to race 8 at Keeneland. This is a grade 3. We'll actually bring up the.
And by the way, if we bust this in the first leg, we're dropping off. I don't think we're going to be able to talk about leg 2 with any excitement with a 5-horse race with no living tickets. Just so we're clear on that.
Sounds good.
I'm gonna go get a beer and do it that way instead if we lose the first leg, because it's pretty bad if we lose. It is a deep field though.
Well, we are going to do a quick update on what the Trust the Profits has going on. We can bring that in now, and you guys can take a look. Why don't you walk us through here what you have for these 2 legs?
All right. So yeah, this is the power figures based on about 5 million data points per horse, and I'm exaggerating obviously, but probably 30 or 40 data points that touch looking at past performances and jockey and trainer stats and everything else. And we probably, what we try to do is we try to tie it down to one number, kind of like in the same vein as like a buyer figure, but it's more based on not just a single race, but their body of work. So we reduce it down to one number there, and you can see that in the power figure column. Classic Causeway is the top ranked horse in race 8 as far as its past performances show. And that power figure is 1422. That's pretty strong. That's not an everyday horse when you see a horse up in the mid-teens like that. I think we were discussing it earlier. I think the highest horse we've seen since we made these power figures, we've been doing it about a year, was Nick's Go last year heading into the Breeders' Cup, and he was around 14.98 or something is the highest we've seen. We haven't calculated flight line yet, so that'll be interesting, but I'm pretty sure he'll be higher than Nick's Go. And I can't remember what who was in the classic with Nick's Go last year that was close with him heading in. There was 2 co-favorites, drawing a blank, but they were both in that upper 14s. So with that said, you see, go ahead.
Where does it normally? So give me context on what 14.22 falls in line with. Like what's the your average where you might find someone.
Well, I mean, based on this race, you see most horses, most everyday horses that are like running at the Tuesday afternoon shows are going to be 10 to 12. And once you get up into the teens, you're, as you see in this race, anybody below third or fourth choice there. And the red lines through them are obviously the scratches, but those 11s are indicative of more of a non Breeders' Cup quality type horse. But like a Parks Tuesday afternoon show, for example, would have a lot of 10s and that type of thing. And the reason why we came up with that power figure, my idea, I worked with the formula on it, was basically to get a horse reduced to one number, and it could be comparable across any track or basically any situation, so that if two horses that have never raced each other before, one from the West Coast, one from the East, you might be able to take those numbers and come up, like I said last year with Nick's Go. And if the formula's in chat, drop in who was the other horse that was right there with Nick's Go. Anyway, it was like 14.98 against 14.96, and those two horses I don't think had run next to each other, so based on these numbers, it really showed that it was going to be super close between them, and it was. But yeah, obviously it varies a little bit from dirt to turf too. So you can't say, oh, Classic Causeway is a 14.22, so he could go beat somebody on dirt at a different length. But we're trying to get it down to one number. And
was it Essential Quality?
I think it was. It may have been.
Or Hot Rod. I know you guys love your Hot Rod.
I do. I don't think the rest of Team Profits is not as big on Hot Rod as I am, but I just think that horse always shows up. He's gonna be in the money in the Classic too.
Beat my Rich Strike on a double here. 3 weeks ago? Beat me by a head when Rich Strike had him.
That was a heartbreaker. I wanted to see Rich Strike win that too, even though I didn't even bet that race because it was too wide open for me. But
you come on this show and you get beat by a head, so I hope you're prepared to watch all of us just get beat by a head. David Longley's Classic Causeway as well. It's interesting that your power figure here has that separation of 2 points. The way you explained, I was
surprised by that too, and I don't think
close.
And you see that the other column, the column to the right is it says verse morning line. That basically means Classic Causeway is a 1. That means that he's one. We have him rated one position better than the morning line odds. So he's +1 and Wit is -1. So basically Wit's the morning line favorite. He was the post time favorite, or Classic Causeway was the morning line second choice. So why we do that is because Fort Washington down there, the 5th choice power figure, but we scored him 5 positions better than the morning line odds did. So we think there's value. We identify value that way with him. So,
and I'll give a quick shout out to our sponsors, Play Up Racebook. They have an algorithm. Oh, this became an eye chart. Sorry, I didn't mean for it to be that way. But your algorithms here that they use on the product, if you're using Play Up Racebook, has Wit with about a 20 point difference. So that one clearly has Wit. They have 2 algorithms, and their second one actually had Classic Causeway, but it had it much closer. I did like that I saw Ready Perform and Balkanov were also at the top there, who I had on my ticket. Sorry that became such an eye chart. I'll take those out.
Post time here. We got
post time to the gate. So one last time, I've got the 1, 2, 5, 8, 10. 10 is my value there. What's he at right now? 25 to 1. So last we checked, he was 40 to 1. So he's taken, if you want to say taking some money, it was morning line 15 to 1. And they are off here over at Keeneland Race 8. We can't show it, unfortunately, but hopefully you can tune in and watch on yourself there, and we'll see if we can get through this first leg. The 8 is Wit. The 5 is Classic Causeway, who we both have on our tickets. I also have the 1 Ready to Perform, the 2, and the 10. They're pretty spread out here. You've got Classic Causeway up front with my 10.
Classic Causeway is Dangerous on the lead, like we said. Let's see if he can break away or if the pack kind of holds with him here.
Fuerteventura has.
There's your 10 horse up there making some.
Nice. He's looking nice. So
giving
I
you a
obviously
shot.
said that 10 outside post was the reason I was a little worried about him. He was able to overcome that, and now he's just riding the coattail of Classic Causeway on the backstretch. They went 23.46 for the half. I think that's going to be a little troublesome for my 10. Might not.
Marla's requesting that you call the race like an announcer voice.
I'm trying. Is this not good enough?
Classic Causeway at the top of the stretch, and down the stretch they come. Come on, give me that voice.
Oh,
I don't like it. Classic Causeway, he's got the front, but let's see what's happening here. Where's the 8? Here comes Witt.
10's taking him down, baby. Come on with this 10. Come on with this 10. We got Witt on the outside about to eat him up.
Who's on the rail
there too. But this
okay, Witt's going to win this one.
Witt's going to make him easy. Biliknikov's coming.
Oh, here comes Biliknikov. Two got him.
Get up 2.
That's going to work.
Hey,
going to work for the first leg. Got a decent price there.
Nice. Both of us get the 2 at 6-1. Tyler Gaffney.
That's going to give us a little value chance.
Now, why did I take the 4 off my ticket?
Let's see.
Let's see what the.
I had a trifecta there too. I forgot what I put in. Let's see.
So I got the 2 to the 1, which would pay $28. You got the 2 to the 1 and the 4. 1 is $28. The 4 is $16. So
what it come 284 there?
Say that again.
It came 284 to the top 3.
It was definitely 28.
Might have been 6.
6 was coming on the outside. 284 from that terrible angle that I just watched.
Yeah, I didn't even. Where do we have 4 on the radar? 4 was quite a ways off my radar, I think. Axthelm.
So there's that angle that I love, just the horse having success at the same distance coming back. 284.
Yeah, 2 was the second longest shot we had. It's hard. It's so hard to take chalk in a full field on turf. I mean, it's so unpredictable. Yeah, look at the 4's not even on our radar there. So
he was not on mine either. But we're looking for winners on the double show. So the 4 was had run twice over the turf at a mile. His first race was on synthetic at Gulfstream. Safi Joseph horse with Louis Saez up.
Classic Causeway stopped off for a lunch at the top of the stretch there.
He did not, Marla. 2846. But when you go out and do 46 half, he can't do that.
Yeah, the way he wasn't getting away was kind of telling. He's got to get away to dominate a race from wire to wire. Like he's done it before, but he's done it before in weaker fields.
And I did like what I saw from that 10. You just can't hang with Classic Causeway 46 seconds when you are not that high quality or highest quality. I think if that horse cuts back a little bit, it'd be someone that I will pay attention to. But we get 6-1 home. We both hit it first leg. That's always nice because you get to continue to.
Now we don't have to turn this off and quit. We can actually BS a little bit with some hope. Let's see what the will pays probably are not going to be too sexy with the because the second leg is almost certainly going to be $28
and $16. $16 to the 4, $28 to the 1. So we'll get that 1 home. We'll both make some money.
Yep. That's the goal here.
That's what we're here for. So we obviously got some time until race 9, and I don't know if were you able to get the Tour de Force standings in here?
No, I have the picture right here. I'll get them up. Go ahead. What was that? What was the pull up that chart from Play Up again? I was curious to look at that.
Sure.
They had Witt on top. Where did they have that? So ready to perform. Got a lot. That was kind of the wise guy pick, I think. And I didn't see him at all. I don't think in that race. Might have got caught up in traffic, but
nope.
They had the 2 ranked 4th there, right? So we all kind of liked the 2 to get off at 6-1 was pretty nice there. So
yeah, and they actually did have the 4 as the top of the rest of the bunch there.
Yeah. So speaking on the Breeders' Cup, yeah, the Tour de Force is we're in it. Several of our friends are in it.
Yeah, and for those that aren't familiar, the Tour de Force is a tournament that Trust the Profits puts on, where we it's kind of how I got to meet you, Alambre, and it's so much fun. It's
a lot of people.
$50 to get into it, and then you give us the opportunity to bet a mythical $100 on a variety of races throughout the summer leading up to the Breeders' Cup. We also did it leading up to the Kentucky Derby, so I love it because you can handicap a race. You got some skin. What would I do if I had $100? How would I put it towards a bet? And you get to kind of play along. So we had a good field this year of 40.
Yeah, somewhere between 35 and 40. I can't. Of course, I'm like 16th there. You can make like your celebrity, and you can also talk trash and back it up or embarrass yourself with the tournament. It's a fun tournament. Where are you at right now? You're SC Collins in 9th.
Zoom in on that left. Let's see. Let's get the standings. There you go. Get that bigger. Keep going. This old man is losing his eyes. So we got Chillman Says leading the pack with $3,000. So you can see there on the right, his big score was the Clement Hirsch, where he won $14.90. So the goal is you get $100, and you can see the races that we have been kind of playing out: the Haskell, the Bing Crosby, obviously the Whitney. I was in third for a while with 1,200. I haven't moved that 1,200 since I hit the Whitney and the Pat O'Brien Stakes. And this is so what's Breeders' Cup race number? Are we going into race number like 15? I think it is. Is it more than that?
How many rounds you mean?
Yeah, if you slide to the right.
Yeah, it's like I think there was 16 of the Breeders' Cup when you're in races that were counted towards this tournament, and then the last 14 rounds are all 14 of the Breeders' Cup races. So yeah, the last races were on the 8th and 9th. Keeneland's Breeders' Futurity, American Pharoah Stakes, and the Juddmonte Spinster. But yeah,
and
so those 14. So basically, all the preps made up half of the tournament, and the other half of the tournament is the Breeders' Cup itself.
Which is back to those standings. If you look at number 10, me and Keith, we always tease each other each and every stride. He's been chipping away at my lead of 1,200, and now I lead.
Oh yeah, you guys are neck and neck pretty much.
$11. So we're gonna have some fun playing the strategy. My strategy this year has changed a little bit. I've just been doing much higher tickets. So putting $50 on a superfecta and just maybe swapping out the 4th place or swapping 3rd and 4th. Maybe $100 to win if I like a price. Maybe trying to do some $50 exactas as opposed to smaller tickets with a lot of horses, right? Those are the two strategies you probably could play. I'm $1,800 behind first. So,
but this pays all the way down to 6th, I believe, because there was, we're paying out based on the field size. We're not just paying the winner out, luckily, because last year, well, actually, this is season 4. There's been all 3 seasons. There was a couple huge hits that kind of somebody had a ridiculous lead and it was going to be impossible. So we were all basically playing to go for second, realistically, because I'm not the type to even put in a bet with a 50-1 odds type horse. Very rarely, maybe like in a Kentucky Derby type situation with a huge field. But it's hard for me to make up thousands of dollars in these tournaments because I can't see it on paper when to bet a 50-1 like some of these guys can. That's what's cool about it. We had one guy come from dead last in season 3, came from dead last and won the whole tournament with one hit there. It was actually, he's in dead last again right now.
Who's that?
Hoff.
Okay.
He's got $100 total. So he's lost every run, and this is exactly what he did last season though. And then he scored, I want to say it was like $14,000 on a $100 straight exacta or a straight try, one of them. $100 straight try, I think it was.
Yeah. And
it was wild, dude. It was like $100 try, and he had his full 100 on a straight, cold, ice cold. So,
and that's what he's doing, but to only have $100 right now, he's hammering that opinion, right? It's like
he's betting. He always bets. Not to give away his strategy, but a lot of guys do it. $100 straight try or exacta, because in order, you only got to hit, you hit one of those and it's got a price in it at all. Same thing with Michael Myers, the guy in fifth. He hit that $1,400 at the very beginning, round 3 there. And that's all he's hit all year, because he's taking shots with $100 exactas, straights or tries, and you're either all in or that's why all those dashes mean that they didn't get anything back. Boom or bust, babe. That's how horse racing works sometimes, especially tournaments. You got to go boom. You cannot sit there and bet chalk for sure.
Yeah, and I can tell looking at that 10 through 15th, you kind of start to look across the running line. They're chipping away, right? So they're chipping away, not making those huge bets, but they're bringing in money each week. $100 here, $60 here, $205.
I feel like that guy in 16th place still has a shot to get something done here.
You've been steady. Look at those runs of mine's are all dashes.
I started off a little conservative. I was doing mostly like 3-horse exacta boxes and stuff like that, but I haven't scored in weeks, so I mean, just chump change stuff. But my biggest score of the year is like 400 or like 200 or something, 300, 299. So yeah, the formula. One of our partners here's up there in 12, so he's right with you and Keith.
Yep. So it's going to be fun, and it's funny when you start. I have a free entry into the Sport of Kings Breeders' Cup final for, I think, top 2 win NHC seats. So I've got that going on for my Breeders' Cup. I've got this where I got to come up with a $100 mythical bet for every single Breeders' Cup race. And we're obviously got all the content we're doing on here. So not even betting, I got enough to keep me busy for the week for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, this time of year is fun, man. The Breeders' Cup's the best event of the year. A lot of people are all in on the Derby, which is also awesome. Don't get me wrong. And the prep season for all the Derby preps is awesome to watch too, because the juveniles are always fun and unpredictable. But the Breeders' Cup is by far, no question, the best event of the year.
And my
always has been.
My tournament there for the Tour de Force is going to probably be decided on Friday, because I think Friday is where at least I see Friday for the Breeders' Cup some prices in those juveniles that you hopefully can get maybe outside of Cave Rock. I think Cave Rock's pretty solid. But I think those other 4 races will be the opportunities that I'm going to try and take. And hopefully, like you said, you do that $100 straight exacta or try, pick off one of those is what my strategy is going to be. And then we'll see where we're at Saturday. What are you expecting for an update on the standings? We're going to have to wait till the completion of Saturday, or will we have a little Friday night? It's a lot.
No, it's a lot of work actually. A lot of that scoring's manual. So we'll probably get the final results on like Tuesday or Wednesday or something like that.
In December, right?
Plus I tend to party during Breeders' Cup, so I probably won't be super agile on Sunday morning to be up and crunching numbers. So,
well, we appreciate your hard work putting that together. It's definitely something I have enjoyed.
I'm a data nerd, so it's fun for me, but it's just sometimes when you got 49 things going on, it's a little bit of a chore, but it's worth it.
Wayne
Harrison, who chases Cave Rock home? Wayne, if you haven't seen the top 5 and 10 videos we've been putting out for contenders lists, a lot of those were made based on Matthew and myself, Matthew DeSantis, myself, Tom, the formula, and Colin kind of put our heads together and figured out who we think these contenders are in order. And it's some kind of synopsis of what we all think. And we don't always obviously agree across the board on all of them, but it's kind of a consensus top 5 on them. So if you haven't seen those, check out on our channel. There's all those top 5 in every division. I think there's only 1 or 2 divisions coming up the next. I think one of them, we're releasing one more video tonight, and I think one more tomorrow, and then yeah, we've got all kinds of content next week though. It's gonna be crazy.
Well,
Dennis Trusty in the house.
My heart was broken when Loggins checked out of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, but that's just because he's gonna prep up to win the Derby next year. Because I absolutely love me some Loggins, and he'll be one that you're certainly talking about. I think Cave Rock's definitely your solid. The speed figures are just there. the one that's chasing him home, I kind of like Blazing Sevens coming out of the 2 races in the slop.
I do too.
Nice closer, verifying the full sister to Midnight Bisu, horse to keep an eye on. And then you got Tyler's Tribe, which is obviously just that great story where Tyler will be there, the 8-year-old. The horse was named after
That'll be
him,
awesome.
Who's been
That'll be awesome if he can
battling,
get home.
and it would be what a tremendous story. So I'll be putting some cash on. Maybe I'll do my Tour de Force $100 on Tyler's Tribe, just because that would be really cool if that horse gets home, and then I'll have.
Have you seen his futures odds? I haven't seen it. He's probably.
Let's see if I can find it.
Yeah, we're well prepared with all the data that we have to search in Google real quick.
Where are we at? So we're 16 minutes for those just tuning in. Hey, Trusty, I put up the standings earlier. I got to bring those back up for you because this $24 debt that my guests
you're hurting us
is because of you, my friend. He came in with the
you
highest.
should put Trusty's name in parentheses underneath.
Until it turns green, it's Trusty's DT right in front of there. And since you're just joining us, we nailed race 8. We both were on that 2 at 6-1. I had decided to chop the 4 off my ticket just for value purposes. So I am single to the 1 here, which will pay $28. El Hombre does have the 1 and the 4, $28. And for the 1 and $16 for the 4. So he'll at least be doubling his money if you followed along. So at very least, if we can get the 1 and the 4 home, that red number is at least making itself a little bit closer to the green.
Making Trusty look bad. Trusty says prove that it was him. So episode.
We'll pull the video.
Yeah, last week we'll get to that later. But yeah, it's the internet's forever, bub.
Dennis is alive here as well. I'm alive in a double. I went 1-2-5 with the 1 as my single. I agreed with him on this 1 as we start to get back and pay attention to race 9 at Keeneland. We're about 12 minutes away. For those that maybe didn't join along in our double, this is a tough race to take multiple horses because of the short field and the quality. As I try to find my past performances here, I lost them. Where'd they go? Uh-oh. Grade 2 at Keeneland, going 1 1/8 on the dirt. That's what happens when you do this live. You get a little confused here.
Who cares?
West Willpower is the 1. As I said earlier, it's 3rd time out with Cox, 2nd off the layoff, and I had an inkling that this horse was some early speed that maybe could get away. The 4 was the 6-5 morning line, is 4-5 right now live. First Captain has run good off the layoff in the past 2 races. One of them was Gulfstream, an optional claimer that he won. Also the grade 2 Suburban at Belmont, which was 1.25 miles, put up a 109 Brisnet speed figure. Just second by a nose to Dynamic 1. And then in the last race was 3rd to Olympiad and American Revolution. So the class there with the 4 First Captain is definitely what makes this horse stand out. Like I said, I went with the 1 for the strict factor of trying to get a price because I went 5 deep in that last ticket, which got me through, or the last race, which got me through with that 2. I was a little intrigued by Last Samurai. This horse has run grade 2, won a grade,
him too.
Won in a grade 2 at Oaklawn in April. Last September, was 2nd in a grade 3. Was 5th last race out to Our Collector. 3rd to West Willpower, who I just mentioned. Was smoked by Olympiad in the Stephen Foster. But this horse is coming out of the Dwayne Lucas barn with Tyler Gaffleone up. And one thing that me and my buddy always talk about is the double of either the number or the jockey. So we could have a Tyler double here, or we can't have a 2-2 because Chess Chief was scratched. So I don't have to worry about getting beat by that.
Thanks, Marla. Marla, you're awesome. Thanks for all your support.
Who's Marla like here?
Marla's our biggest supporter, one of our biggest supporters for sure, outside of our sponsors, but we appreciate the positivity all the time. Thanks.
There's your field for race 9. You got West Willpower, the 1, Folsom, the 3, 4's First Captain, 5 is King Fury, 6 is Last Samurai. And I'm going to bring up the algorithms that we showed you that were from 2 minutes to post. This is with the Play Up race book. So
Rutrow, they like Folsom, huh?
they like Folsom on this one, but there's 2 algorithms, and I just started kind of poking around with these recently, trying to figure out which one is actually, maybe I'm going to bring this full screen. Hopefully it can make it a little bit easier to see. But this one had it basically as we saw it, with first captain with almost a 30-point difference from West Willpower. And the Play Up race book said that's what's to pay attention to when you see a nice big differentiating number between that. That's something that to me looks more like what you might see with this race based upon what we talked about. I didn't think Folsom would be as close to West Willpower as he is there.
That's almost right along the lines of the public betting odds right now, because it's first captain's sub 1-1 right now with 9 minutes to post. He's 4-5. The one horse is 2-1 right now, which I think that's a kind of about where we expected him to be. I was hoping to get more like 3-1 on the one horse, but the daily double's already set up. So
let's take a look at some exacta will pays here. If you do like the 4, the lowest is obviously the 4-1. Not an exacta. I would that's not the type of bet I would pay unless you're putting like $20 on it and going 4-1 straight, which would pay $5.
At least you got to go hard if this was your Tour de Force bet.
If this was my Tour de Force bet, that's
$50 exacta box with the 1-4, and then just hope it comes 1-4. Or do you try to throw a bomb in with Folsom and hope he gets in there?
So what I would do here, if this was Tour de Force and I had $100 mythical bet, and maybe some of you have hundreds that you're throwing out. I know Trusty's probably after his $18 double last week, I bet he's got $100 to throw in the race.
Loaded.
So let me
loaded.
Let me tell Trusty what to do with his his crisp $100 bill that he's gonna put on this race. I would be thinking I'd be thinking, well, at least some of the contenders in Tour de Force are probably going 1-4 or 4-1, right? So I also, when I look at the Tour de Force, try to be a little bit different than what I think the field is going to be doing, and I've tried to get better at that with my tournament play. So I would actually not include one of the horses. And I would probably, because I know a lot of people would probably have the 4, I would do something like a 1-5 and a 1-3 $50 exacta. So $50 exacta for each of those. And the 1-3 would be $12 for your $1 and $26 to the 5. So that would be my approach in Tour de Force if this was one of the bets we were playing.
Straight exactas, not boxing them and hoping that
no,
you don't want that heartbreaker. If you're what if your big price actually gets there though? First of all, a 5-horse race sucks to me. 6 horses is like the smallest field you can have a good betting race in my opinion, unless you got a hard favorite that you don't like. Like in this case, if you thought first captain was not worthy of the odds on value here, which I think he is. If you thought that horse was being severely overbet, then that's the only way you can bet this race is to bet against him. Fade City.
He's on a 1-6 exacta box. $50 each.
I don't hate that, Dennis. That's probably in the direction I'd go.
So he likes the 6. That is Last Samurai. That's that kind of wild card horse that I just.
Or the 3. The 3's getting the same value at 6-1. I kind of would lean towards 1-3. I think boxing them though, because I think if you're gonna go for value like that, then I never would leave. I would never bet it straight. I would always box them, just because if you think that 3 or in Dennis's case the 6 could get there, I would box them and hope that they get there all the way. Because if your price horse gets there and beats, if you're going 1-6 and it comes 6-1, you're pissed. You had the right horses involved. You had the right price. And if you don't box them and they beat you, but you were right, that there's nothing worse than that to me.
Yeah, but a little bit
cost twice as much to bet it that way, but
a little bit of my decision making there was that I don't think the 6 or for my case the 5 can beat the 1. So I'd rather I'm playing that bet strictly on what the will pays are. And just looking at the 1-3 and the 1-5, you know, the 1-6 would actually bother me more if it came 1-6 and I had 1-3 and 1-5. So maybe the smart play there is we get 3 bets on the Tour de Force that can total $100. I'd probably put $25 on the 1-3 because that's the lowest payout, right? So that's $12 to every dollar. And then I would put $25 each on the 1-5 and the 1-6. And that's how I'd cover myself in the Tour de Force if this was that bet. Marla brings up a great point that she's got $100 on her Play Up race book for Breeders' Cup. So we're going to do a shameless plug for our Play Up Facebook because they have an incredible promotion going on right now where they will match up to 50% of your deposit, up to $250. So you deposit $500, they're going to give you $250. That's a pretty sweet deal, which I will definitely be. I haven't done it yet because I don't like money sitting in my accounts over there. Sometimes I can get a little trigger happy.
It's a good software. I've gone through it, and so far, if you have any reviews on that site, feel free to shoot them at us an email. Just talking to the marketing guy there. They're a great company. They're trying to grow the sport like we are. It's everything I've talked to them about sounds like they're their heart's in the right place. Not just in it for the money. They're trying to actually help the sport along because it's a sport that a lot of people think is dying with, because it's always been kind of based on an older crowd, and there's not as many young people into it. Of course, I've been into it since I was a teenager, but I'm not, I'm a minority in that, dude. So, unless you're watching Trust the Profits YouTube channel, you're probably enough into horse racing that you've always been into it too. But
yes,
there's a zillion Fairweather fans that come around for the Kentucky Derby and maybe the Triple Crown, maybe the Breeders' Cup, but we're all pretty hardcore year round. So, Marla, I would say for the $100, unless you want to tinker around with some of these races today, but I would save it for the Breeders' Cup next weekend. And especially like Colin was talking about the Juvenile Friday night, the Juvenile 5 races. That's wild. That's going to be wild. Those always produce some wild payouts. They're always wildly unpredictable, especially the turf races. And
and in the Juvenile Turf Philly, I like G. Laurie. I don't know what the morning line is going to be on that horse, but that's coming out of the race that Pizza Bianca actually came out of last year. G. Laurie ran second up in Woodbine, and right now that's kind of one that I have my minds looking at, and I think we're going to do a top 5 maybe best long shots to play this week. So keep your eyes out for that too. We'll all put our brains together and see what we can come up with. For
sure, man. I'm stoked on the Breeders' Cup. Have been for weeks, and it's 1 week away now. Friday night. I took Friday off work.
I did too. Let's go. And
we'll be doing some live, hopefully some live betting, like similar to this situation next week too. So
I heard that Trust the Profits got together a budget and is sending one of our colleagues to Keeneland live. I don't know how I got cut off the list, but we had to make a decision.
How did I get cut off the list?
We had to make a decision.
I didn't make that list either.
Well,
I could actually probably swing it, but man, I've got a lot going on at home and stuff. I can't just. Plus, it's going to be so crazy there that it's always better on paper to go than to actually be there because it's so chaotic that you can't really see the races as well as you hope.
Yeah.
Unless you got put up in a nice suite or something. But if you're standing in general admission down there or in the bleachers, dude, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's an awesome atmosphere. I was there earlier this year for the Derby prep at Keeneland. Keeneland's an awesome place. If you haven't been there, I'd recommend it to anybody.
It's on my bucket list. Something me and my dad both want to do is go down and do the whiskey tour. And
yep, there's a lot of that. A lot of bars, good nightlife, good restaurants, and the best track in the world, babe. We got zero minutes of post time here.
Saratoga is the best track in the world.
I've been there too, but only once, and it was a long time ago. It's like 15 years ago or something.
I think we need a Trust the Profits reunion next summer.
I'll come up. I was going to come up this summer, and something happened. My kids have 900 obligations, so.
Yes, I know all about that. So here we go.
Yeah.
The horses are approaching the gate. I am alive, single to the 1, West Willpower. My hope is that this horse is just going to get to the lead and go. El Hombre's got the 1, West Willpower, in the 4, First Captain. The 4 is 4 to 5. Hopefully those of you that have played along with us are alive to these 2 as well, and we can get doubling down off the schneid because we haven't had a winner now in a couple of weeks. Tough going over here. And I'll get out my announcer voice unless you want to do this one.
No, it's 5-horse race, dude. It's going to be, that's a challenge of a lifetime for any announcer to make, especially if a couple of them break away, to make any of that sound exciting.
Oh,
yeah, well, look at this. And then the other one's 40 lengths back and blah, blah, blah. But I don't think there's going to be much of a breakaway here.
Well, hopefully the 1 breaks away. Keith's joining in. You
For the
missed
sake of the tickets.
I don't know if Keith was around when I was giving him crap for being closing in on me, $12 in the Tour de Force. We got to put $100 mythical dollar bet on every Breeders' Cup race. That's going to be a ton of fun. Can't wait for that. So let's go with this 1. That way we both will hit.
What's up, Keith? Thanks for joining, man.
Has Keith got Stable Duel going today? Sure he does. He's a huge Stable Duel player. He beat me. I don't know if you
Stable
saw
Duel is
it.
awesome. I got to get more into it. I play it occasionally, but I've got to get more focused.
Keith beat me by 2 points on Wednesday, I think. I took 4th and he took 3rd. I'm always looking up.
You want me to make a statement about Stable Duel that I think is the only thing that bothers me about it? I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love it. I love the strategy because I've always done daily fantasy sports and stuff, so I love that concept. But man, the results taking like 20 minutes to show up. Like I'm sure they're doing their best with that. So I hate to nitpick, but
well, it is instant, but the thing that they need to wait for is the distance, the lengths.
Oh, that's why. Course. Okay, that's right. Yeah,
so
because
when
you
look
get
at
points
the
based on the distance margin of victory.
Exactly. When you look at your results on your ADW, you'll see the results 4-3-2, right? But then you got to wait about 15 minutes, and if you keep watching it, then you'll see by a neck, by 4.5, and the system is waiting for those numbers in order to appropriately provide what the score is for each of them. So here we go. Race 9. Race 9, we are both alive. I'm alive to the 1
up top here.
And El Hombre's got the 4. The 1 breaks nice in the rail, gets clear. 5 had a little bit of trouble, but King Fury's going to drop back anyways. He's actually keeping up pace here. And here goes this 1. So hopefully he's just going to take a nice lead here and go wire to wire. You got Rosario up with the 2-length lead. We'll see what the first split comes up. And here comes King Fury and Last Samurai, who are both riding a lot closer to the pace than I thought that might be. You got the 4 First Captain there in 4th, and Folsom, who's also a closer there. 25 seconds on
our 1 horse got bet all the way down to 6 to 5. Some late money coming in on the 1. So I think we got him at a better price on the double than you would have got him if you liked him to win here.
25 quarter, 49 half. This is setting up just the way that we wanted for this 1. Hopefully he takes this nice pace and then is able to just floor it coming down the stretch as they start to approach the final turn. Really not much here from First Captain. First Captain's actually fallen back and was just passed by Folsom.
Yeah, what's up with that, dude? He does not look.
1 is just cruising, baby. 113 all the way. Let's go. Open them up.
The 2nd horse, the 5 horse, nobody talked about.
Open them up. King Fury, oh my God, don't let him cut inside of you. West Willpower looks like this should be.
Here comes Folsom, looks live. The 6 looks live, but no, I think kick it home with this 1.
Here we go. Let's go. Let's go. Clear. Here we go.
Check, please.
Here we go.
All right.
Doubling down live is
Trusty's band, babe. Trusty's band.
Look at that. Let's count the lengths. 1, 2, 3 seconds. So that's about 15, not 15, maybe 10 lengths. So there's a nice win there by the 1. West Willpower, $28 for both of us.
Sweet.
Your bet was $8, so you got 3.5 times your money there. Well done, boys.
Hey, Marla, I have a question for you. Could you please send Trust the Profits at Gmail an email when you get a second? I've got a question for you about Play Up. Thank you. Sorry. So let's close it out. What do we got? $28 winner on an $8 ticket for me. What was your ticket? $10? No, $5.
Mine was 5. I cut the 4 off, remember?
Yep. Good call.
So I am happy with that. That gets this green going a lot better in the other direction. And you, let's see, what were the standings? Let's pull up those standings again because we got to see.
Can I pull us above 0?
Let's see if you were able to get us back above.
Nope.
So
Close, man.
Your bet was $8. So your profit, let me see, what was the payout?
It was 28, I believe.
$28. So you got them down to $4 in the red. So you are.
That's what I'm here for. I got to help the kids out, man. Trustees out here bombing the bankroll for the guests. I had to come in and do my work. So,
Marley, you can if you want to. I don't know, how do you want her to get in touch with you?
I just sent the email in the chat. So.
Oh, great. Trust the Profits. There you go. Good stuff. Thanks for doing this. Awesome. We got to do this live.
Yeah, it's fun, man. We'll do it again. Maybe do some Breeders' Cup daily doubling down shows.
Friday
That'll
live?
be a lot harder and a lot more expensive tickets though.
Friday.
Because I'm not doing a $8 and $4 ticket for any Breeders' Cup doubles. Maybe a couple of them, but not on a. I'm not singling Cave Rock either. I got news for you. I don't ever trust juveniles, especially he's going to be even money or less. But
yeah, and I think Friday is.
I do think he's the best horse. Don't get me wrong, but you can't gamble on a straight money shot.
I think he's much the better. The other races is where I'll be going, and like I said, I really like that G. Laurie who encountered some trouble. That's one of the ones I'm going to be playing my tickets around on Friday.
All right, dude, let's get out of here, man.
Thanks everybody for joining us. We hope you followed along and cashed as well. See you next time.
Trust the Profits Breeders' Cup coverage is brought to you by Play Up Racebook, the most horse player friendly racebook in the industry. Play Up Racebook is always your best bet.